All right, so my name is Joseph Ricks.
My name is Ben Morrow.
And we have the great class of social studies, which everybody's going to fall asleep in, right?
No.
Because social studies is the boringest thing. It's not cool like music or art.
No. Yeah.
All right.
I had to follow up all those groups.
Next time we should go first. All right. So today, basically what we're going to do is we're going to go over Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, okay, what their goals were and what their leadership philosophy was. But it's going to be really quick, okay? So first off, you have to know a couple of words or phrases. The first is civil disobedience or civil unrest. Can anybody tell me what that is? What their version of that is? What you got?
Civil disobedience is basically disobeying civil laws.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Go ahead now, go ahead. Please.
I was just gonna add. I was gonna say obeying or disobeying the laws in a civil manner.
Yeah, that perfect. So yes.
Oh, I think of civil unrest is like when society gets stirred up over something.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of people sometimes they get civil unrest and civil disobedience mixed up a little bit with revolution. Okay? So the best way to think about it is like this, okay? If you're a parent and you have a child, and that child does something that you don't agree with, or something that you've told them not to do, okay? That is civil, or that is disobedience, right? Or it's unrest in your household, if you want to think about it like that, okay? But it's not like they picked up a knife and tried to stab you, right? Because if they picked up a knife and tried to stab you, or they tried to punch you, that would be revolution. They're trying to take over the house, okay? So there's a huge difference between those two. So Martin Luther King, his main thing is he wanted equality, okay? And he wanted that equality, so his goal was equality. And he wanted to get there by using civil unrest or civil disobedience, not revolution, okay? So this week in class, in the DED class, raise your hand if you're in that class. Yay, you guys had to do a flipogram, right?
Yeah.
Awesome, welcome to my flipogram. Ah! Really?
I still have a dream.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Okay, so everybody remembers that, right? It's not I have a dream speech. It's toward the end of a 16-minute speech. But if you notice the tone of his voice, right? It's not, he's not shouting, he's not pointing, he's not getting all riled up, okay? He tries to keep a nice level tone. The only time that he does raise his voice is when he says, I have a dream, right? Now, if you notice in all these pictures that came up here, they're pretty sad, most of them. And a lot of that stuff happened in Birmingham, Alabama, and that was civil disobedience, okay? You didn't see anyone besides the police or the government who had any kind of weapons or anything like that. They were just simply not doing what the government wanted them to do, okay? And it is in contrast to, well, not in contrast to, but so the next person that we're going to talk about is Malcolm X.
It's contrasting, but they do have a lot more in common than what everybody thinks of. Both of them wanted their rights for African Americans mainly. They both realized that there was a lot of civil unrest in the United States. But I have a question for you guys. Does civil disobedience cause civil unrest, or vice versa? Any ideas? No? Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Disobedience causes unrest.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I see it the opposite way.
Yeah, it could be both. How?
Because when you're dissatisfied with something, that's when you're going to start breaking the
You
law.
just took it for way too long and
Right.
get angry and get mad and watch that. All right, so Malcolm X. Oh, wow. All right. Now listen to the contrasting styles of their voice and the tone of the words. Everything about their
This is where my mom went to college. This is where my mom got her degree.
That's not Malcolm X.
Yeah, that's not. When you guys watch this video, look at how he looks at the audience, his face. Look at what he does with his hands. Look at what everything he does. The tone of his voice compared to what Martin Luther King. I know you didn't get to see Martin Luther King, but
Did it here? Here's where my dad did.
I'm speaking as a black man from America, which is a racist society. No matter how much you hear us talk about democracy, it's as racist as South Africa, or as racist as Portugal, or as racist as any other racialist society on this earth. The only difference between it and South Africa preaches separation and practices separation. America preaches integration and practices segregation. This is the only difference. They don't practice what they preach. Whereas South Africa preaches and practices the same thing. I have more respect for a man who lets me know where he stands, even if he's wrong, than the one who comes up like an angel and is nothing but a devil. Our 16 senatorial committees that govern the country and 20 congressional committees. 10 of the 16 senatorial committees are in the hands of Southern racialist senators who are racialists. 13 of the 20, about this was before the last election. I think it's even more so now. 10 of the 16 committees, senatorial committees, are in the hands of senators who are Southern racialists. 13 of the 20 congressional committees were in the hands of Southern congressmen who are racialists, which means...
Alright, just a little clip of them. But do you guys see some differences in just like their tone and everything like that? How did he sound? Pretty PO'd, right?
Yeah.
Which he called for more of a revolution type style. His philosophy was, he was part of the Nation of Islam, officially, right before until he died. And he wanted black people to create their whole entire nation. They wanted to get out of America and they wanted to be completely isolated. As Martin Luther King wanted integration and peace for everybody. And he didn't care about peace, he just wanted their own way of doing things.
What he liked to refer to it was racial and national segregation. Okay? And that sounds kind of weird, right? Does everybody understand what that means? Racial and national segregation? Okay? And it sounds really weird, but honestly, it's the same thing that Abraham Lincoln wanted. Okay? Before the end of the Civil War. Is he wanted all African Americans to go somewhere else and have their own thing. Okay? So, the next thing that we want to talk about real quick is the discussion. Okay? First off, at your table, I just want you to talk with your people at your table and discuss what you see as the major differences between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. for about a minute and a
Yeah,
half.
just about a minute and a half. But while you're talking, talk about their similarities also.
Oh yeah, differences,
Talk
similarities.
about what they had in common too.
I'm glad you made that. Right over here?
Just for about another 10
All right.
seconds or so, guys. Final thoughts. Make a good thesis if you can.
So is there any one table that wants to maybe raise their hand and tell us, something that they came up with? No?
No volunteers?
Okay, what you got?
Martin Luther sounded more educated because he was tempered with how he spoke in public rather than attacking verbally.
That's interesting. Like he actually came off as being more educated. I never even would have thought about that. But yeah, I guess that is kind of true sometimes. All right, and the next question is, what would Gandhi and Nelson Mandela do? Okay, that's what that means.
What would they
WWJD.
think about those two?
Yeah. So, real quick, just think to yourself, who would Gandhi and who would Nelson Mandela follow? Okay? How many people think that they would follow
Did you guys
Malcolm X?
understand? You guys know the cultural viewpoints of Nelson Mandela? They're off the top of your head. Not really. Yeah? No? Okay, yeah.
All right, so raise the hands for Malcolm X. How do you think that they would follow him? Or Martin Luther King? All right, outstanding. Any questions? All right, thank you guys.
Yeah.